Powerful people rarely argue, not because they always agree and not because they avoid conflict, but because arguing is often a sign that the frame is unstable. Most arguments are not about truth. They are about positioning. They are about ego. They are about forcing recognition. When someone argues emotionally, they're trying to win something immediately. They want the moment to resolve in their favor. Powerful people don't operate on that level. They don't rush for immediate victory. They think structurally. Arguing usually means two people are fighting over the definition of the situation. Who is right? Who decides? Who has authority? But people with authority don't need to fight for the definition. They already occupy it. This is why arguing often lowers status. The louder the argument, the more it reveals investment, and investment reveals vulnerability. Powerful people don't reveal vulnerability unnecessarily. They don't escalate emotionally because escalation gives away control. Instead, they stay calm. They let others exhaust themselves. They listen longer than expected, not as a tactic, as a natural consequence of not being pressured by the moment. Most people argue because they want to be understood. They want to correct perception. They want to fix the misunderstanding right now. Powerful people understand that misunderstanding is not always urgent. Sometimes it resolves itself. Sometimes it doesn't matter. And sometimes explanation is wasted on someone who isn't listening. Arguing also creates equality. That's one of its hidden functions. When you argue with someone, you meet them on the same level emotionally. You enter the same arena. Powerful people don't enter arenas they don't need. They don't debate for validation. They don't perform reasoning for approval. They decide what matters and what doesn't. Another reason powerful people don't argue is that they understand leverage. Arguing is often what people do when leverage is low. When someone has no structural advantage, they use emotion, they use volume, they use persistence. But when leverage is high, argument becomes unnecessary. A contract doesn't argue, a decision doesn't argue, a boundary doesn't argue, it simply exists. This is why powerful people often respond with fewer words. They don't over-explain, they don't defend constantly. They state, then they stop. And that silence communicates something stronger than argument ever could. It communicates finality. Powerful people also understand something else. Arguing rarely changes minds. It usually hardens positions. Most arguments are performances for an audience, or performances for the self. They are about identity. Powerful people don't tie identity to being right in the moment. They tie identity to outcomes over time. So they don't chase emotional victories. They let time do the work. This doesn't mean powerful people never confront. They do. But confrontation is different from argument. Argument is reactive. Confrontation is deliberate. Argument is emotional. Confrontation is structural. Powerful people don't argue because they don't need chaos to create clarity. They create clarity with boundaries, with silence, with decisions. The least powerful person in a room is often the one arguing hardest, not because they are wrong, but because they need the moment to validate them. Power doesn't need validation. It doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't rush. It doesn't convince. It simply remains. That is why powerful people don't argue.